Alright, so we just had a quick trip to Halfords. I needed some safety stuff before I start angle grinding the TT. That's what we're doing today, as you can tell. But I needed something. They don't have like the main visor thing that people kept recommending, but I think we can do without. So let's get back home and start pulling apart the TT even more. Haha, throwback to the carbon days. Doesn't feel like it's been long since then, but it's been absolutely ages. Anyway, here it is. The TT. People are like, where's the TT? Oh, TT video. It's here. The TT's fine. I actually thought the battery was dead because this wasn't flashing, and this is like flashes to tell you that the security is on. But it's not dead. I think the alarm just kind of died, or the lights did. Anyway, so I've already seen some videos on how to get this sorted. I want to remove the door cards first. That's the main thing. And I get to play with my angle grinder at some point today, hopefully. Fingers crossed. I've already watched a video on how to take this apart, take this off. I want to take it off and just see what we have. Maybe grind some stuff. I do want to attempt to make, at some point, my own door cards. I think that would be super fun. Just making out of some ABS plastic. Part of me wants to keep the speakers. I really do want some speakers in this, even like they're actually pretty decent, both speakers in here. But we'll see as we go along. The door cards could have holes, they couldn't, maybe they don't, maybe muffled sound. Whatever, we'll find out. Let's get it off. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I've actually already done this once, taken this, not taken it off, but looked at the process and how to do it and started doing it. It's a really simple job. I like this design, it's really, really cool. This car, like, it surprises me because it's an old car that doesn't really have like, it was when Audi wasn't reliable and when Audi wasn't really this pristine manufacturer, but it has so many cool little bits that make you go, I can see where Audi started to get their name. Anyway, so to get this off, this whole thing, there is a hole. Push it up, twist it anti-clockwise, comes right off. Oh, you have to take the screwdriver out first. Alright, comes right off. It's actually metal. Which is quite cool actually. I thought it was cheap plastic, but then there's a torque screw, which I already have the right size for, and you just undo it. As you can tell, I was tightening it earlier. So as you can see, really long screw. I'm going to make sure that I don't misplace that in case I do want to put this back on at some point, but the idea is to not put this back on. That's the point. I want to replace with ABS plastic, but I don't know what it looks like behind here. Now, the only other thing I need to do, on the doors obviously you have a lot of rubber protection-y stuff. This, you just need to pull it off, so I need something to do that. And I think that's pretty much it. Now we just lift it up, the door will come off, and then we just have to detach things that we don't want. So this car, a lot of people have been asking me about it, like why is it not appearing on the channel very much and stuff, and obviously I need to make a video kind of discussing, and it's the perfect video to bloody do it. I'm pretty much making this the budget build. This is a real life budget build. I'm going to be doing this on the cheap, the cheapest of the cheap, because this car, I don't want to put a lot of money into it. In the end, I might bin it. So most of it is going to be budget mod. And I think that'll be kind of cool because some people were actually talking about my video when I went to Santa Pod. And I was very kind of anti-hatch. And I don't want to come across that way because there are some hatches I like. But the hatches I like are the Focus RS, the Focus ST, I don't know, the MPS Mazdas. There's very specific hatches I like that I'm interested in. I'm not really going to be impressed with a 1 litre Corsa. I get it. Some people, that's all they can afford and that's what they say, but let's be real, that's not true, because the IS200 really wasn't that much to insure, much more than a Corsa was. Most people say 1,000, I don't know, 700 or 800 pounds a year for a Corsa insurance, which to most people sounds like a lot, but when the IS200 for me, for my first car, was £2,000 a month. And again, that's a big car, that's a 2 litre old car, so the insurance is higher. There's a lot of things to equate for that, but there are much better cars you can get. For example, this TT, I imagine quite a few people could probably insure something like this. And I think it's a lot more exciting than hatch, and you can get the coupe or whatever. Anyway, I kind of got chilly, so I have to put this on. Alright, so they say, just pull it up, comes right off, and we have a speaker attached. Always remember, when you pull things off like this, to remember how they're attached. Maybe take a picture, diagram or something, unless it's obvious. And that is the door panel. So, It's an interesting shape. Obviously, the main thing I want to keep on this door card specifically is the handle. The mechanism you just get, it just pulls this. Really light tug as well. There really isn't much to this door at all, as you can see. Like, as I said, it's mostly the glass. Like a bit of plastic over this, and I think we're bloody golden. And I was worried about the speakers as well, because obviously the speakers need a bit of room to go into here, and the door cards usually stick out quite a bit. This has got plenty of room here to kind of force a speaker in there. I think the reason they didn't do that is obviously for the glass to be able to move up and down without any possible rubbing. The thing I was thinking, obviously, with the plastic door panel, I need everything to be flush. We've got this right here, which I think, well, surely this is for the glass. I think this is the motor to send the glass up and down, which we won't need, I don't think. We could just manually do it with clips. It's probably the best way to do it, in my opinion. The surface will be pretty much off of this and then flush. It may like not be flat straight, but that's okay. And boom, just like that, we have the actual contraption here to the handle. Definitely going to be reused. I really like it. It suits the style of the Audi. We're going to put it on our own custom door when we finally get it working. When we finally get around to making it, should I say. I don't have a jigsaw. I think a jigsaw would help for that. And I need to saw some of it. I've never actually bought any ABS plastic on it, so just straight up ABS plastic. And I think what we'll do is we'll do a video of just the plastics. Maybe we'll do the door cards and we'll do the windows on the same day. Front window screen, not going to be replaced. I'm going to keep that as normal, but the back window as well, there's actually a slight back window that comes up to protect from the wind. It's super useful. Obviously, the most exciting part of today is that we're going to be using an angle grinder. I've never used one. I'm getting into the idea of using it and stuff. Like, as I said, this is the car that can go wrong. It's okay. And then I will learn, and that's the point of this. I'm gonna mess up. Things aren't gonna work, and you guys are gonna come along with that. But as I said, what we're gonna do is we're gonna open the trunk quickly. I'm gonna do that now, actually. Open the trunk. How do I do it? There's a button. Yeah. There we go. Magical. All right. So it's quite heavy, if I'm totally honest. This trunk. It's very heavy indeed. Why that is? Probably some form of rigidity, but we're going to find out if that's the case when we start driving it, when we remove some weight from it. So you'll see that there's like an extra, I need to show you properly. There's kind of two layers here of metal, the actual top layer, and then there's this layer right here. It's going to lose rigidity. I know that's the point of this. Well, it's not the point of this. The point is to lose weight, but we're going to cut away from this, at least attempt to start cutting away from this with the angle grinder. I'm excited. You're excited. Let's get on with it. The European Miata is what I'm going to call it. That's Euro titty, the titty. All right, angle grinder. Now I only have cutting blades at the moment. I've never used an angle grinder before. There's a difference between grinder blades and so I've ordered a bunch of stuff like sanding, but I've got cutting, and that's what I need right now. Protection. I need to go get my stuff. Welcome to my modeling shoot. Today we are wearing Halford's eye protection. People say that you're supposed to get like a pull down advisory thing. They didn't have any, so I'm not going to use it for now. I may regret it. We'll find out. I've never seen anyone use these with an angle grinder. They said I should on the videos, so I'm going to use them. Next up, we got some Beats by Halford's. Apparently they don't play very good music. Apparently they block out sound pretty well. I can see why you would lose your fingers with that. That stinks as well. Okay, that's pretty cool. I didn't realize like how aggressive that would be. You can see I've pretty much done a cut like along here. It'd be much easier if the thing was off. But the idea is I want to kind of get a really cheap and awful cut. I want to practice on this as much as I possibly can, but I have to practice on getting it perfect. Because if I try and practice on getting it perfect right away, then that's where problems are going to arise, I can tell you that. Now I've had my fun cutting up and messing up, absolutely destroying the boot of this car. I think I did some okay cuts. My favorite cut was like this long one here. Although it's not straight, it gives you an idea. Like it's pretty weird to use, I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm obviously gonna get better at it as I actually use it. But one thing I realized is that I could have just impact gunned this off, because the only cable I think that attaches this trunk to the car, hydraulic kind of struts, they're not attached. The only things are these bolts here, so I'm just gonna impact this off. I think the only cable is this one, which I believe these lights here are kind of legal to have these in the UK. That was the most awkward thing ever. I had to replace, look, take off some really old license plate bulbs, and the connectors were just really like on there. Anyway, the hood is now off. That was much easier than I thought it was going to be, and it doesn't weigh a lot. Well, that was going well. Oh dear, that's not good. Thankfully it was actually cutting into something. Now, my problem is the angle. I can actually hear background noise now, which is great. I missed it. So, you're not supposed to grind. I had a tough time kind of figuring out the difference, but grind and cut, very different. So grinding is like where you're kind of grinding it down, and cutting was just straight up cutting. Now these discs are rated just for cutting. They're very thin, cutting only. They should not be trying to kind of force at a different angle, because if you try, and that's essentially grinding, and it will, well, that will happen. Thankfully, as I said, it was cutting something, so it got stuck, and I wasn't really like full on going, because it goes to like 13,000 RPM. It's not going to save a massive amount of weight, but it's going to help with sound. When I get an exhaust on this thing, it's going to sound awesome. It sounds awesome as it does now, but having less between me and the actual noise is better. I mean, most of the time the roof's going to be down for the most part. Look, it's so tiny. I love how small it is. I've never had like a small car. I started obviously with the IS200, which is a little bit big. It's not like a big car, but the car was basically clean when I started, but this is the result of lots of cutting at awkward angles. It was much easier to just take this off. I don't know why I didn't do that in the first place, but I just didn't think, obviously. I know that the hood will be exactly the same. It's going to be super easy to take off. The seats are heavy. I'm probably going to remove those and find some kind of cheap race seats. By that I mean like cheap. As I said, this is budget build. I have found coilovers for about 200 and something pounds new. So I'm going to be budgeting like crazy on this thing, and that's just so I can keep saving for what's going to happen very, very soon. But at the same time, as I said, I don't want to put a lot into it, because I might just do some stuff to it, cut around and whatever, and play around and attempt to wrap it is something I want to do at some point, and then eventually maybe bin it or like give it away or something. Both doors inside's now removed. It started to look a little bit more race car. You know, I could easily, as I said, remove the dash, but I kind of like the dash. Having the dash hides the scariness of what is a car. Race car titty, you looking fine. Now, as said, I do want to wrap this thing at some point. I haven't decided on colour or anything yet, but I'm I'm liking the way it looks with just the metal showing on the doors. It also thinks that the trunk is open, which it is. Granted, it is actually open. It's just non-existent right now. I just wanted to give a very quick update, tell you how I've got on. I've given it another go after taking a little bit of a break, and I managed to get it off actually. To be able to see a bulk of the metal is now off. Again, it doesn't weigh very much, but again, this is just practice. This is me playing around, giving it a go. I do have a bit of a stronger metal underneath here, so it's a little bit awkward to pull off, so I'm having a little bit of trouble with that, but I can get through that. It's fine. I've cut some of it. I just need to cut more of it. Anyway, essentially, the reason that's there, I think it's to do with this. So I need to be a little bit more careful and spend a little bit more time on it. But then this needs to come off. It's horrible and cruddy. So I think it's kind of cool. It's going to look nice and clean, nice and simple, and it's going to sound more race car-y because it's going to rattle. I think that's pretty much going to be about it for today. I don't want to do a massive amount of cutting and stuff until I get the grinding tool. The grinding tool, I can properly go for it and just have like a one-piece trunk. It's going to look amazing. The door panels I've got off. I'm going to keep them for now because I want to draw around them to get our ABS plastic shape. I should get some ABS plastic. I think a jigsaw would probably be better to cut those than trying to use an angle grinder for it. But I'm going to look into all that kind of stuff. Today I just wanted to, as I said, do stuff on the TT. I got my angle grinder. I was like, I want to do stuff with the TT, so I'm going to make a video of it, obviously. Some people are still, you know, not too sure about this car, and I totally get it. It's a bit of an interesting choice. Why it actually looks clean on camera, I promise, it's not actually that clean. It's a car that I didn't think I would probably pick up ever, because I obviously it's a car you make fun of. It's a little kind of stupid car, but beautiful. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, smash a like, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you in the next episode with a titty. I love the clunk. Until next time, guys.